Alright, what up everybody, it's AJ and welcome back to my final boss fight video here for First Berserker Khazan. We are taking on Ozma, the final boss in this amazing game, and in this one I actually happen to get the alternate ending, so this will be the full fight with all three phases, so let's get right on into this one. Now, in his first phase, it's a lot of mage attacks. He does a fire attack, an ice attack, and a lot of chaos attacks, but he also has a lot of moves where it allows you to do some counter attacks, and if you get those counter attacks off, that's when you can go in for some crazy damage as well as try to stun lock him if you have a good combo that gets his stamina meter all the way down in order to do an executable. He does a lot of flying around, so there's not a lot of moments in order to get some attacks off. I found the best way to actually get an attack off on him is to get the counter off. However, if you are skilled enough, you can also attack him when he does any ground AoEs where he's trying to lift his staff from the ground and the rocks start to crumble. If you're able to dodge that move while also being within it, you can do some massive damage to him when he's doing that, because he's kind of stuck there for a few seconds. Again, he has a lot of projectiles, so it's just all about dodging and weaving. He has a lot of AoE attacks that do fires. That's what I mean right there with the ground crumbling and like that. If you're able to dodge that move and then be close to him and then still attack him, that's probably a really good tip that you can do there. I was never good at it, so I always recommend just getting out of there and then going in after he does any crazy projectile move or anything like that. When he starts to fly up into the sky, he does a lot of slam attacks and a lot of melee attacks. I always, at this point of the game, was trying to dodge everything because he does a series of swipes. After his third one, he would get stuck and not do anything. That's when he would attack. Again, projectiles, dodge out of them, but they're pretty quick, so just be aware of that. He does a lot of chaos damage for the most part, so just make sure you have some chaos potions, and also look out for the occasional fire and ice damage attacks that he does. But for the most part in this phase, if you can get those counters off, you will be able to get through this phase pretty quickly. He will also taunt you at some parts of this fight, and I would just throw a javelin at him just so I can get some damage off him, because if you try to attack him when he's taunting, he will actually dodge your attack no matter what you do, and then he'll fly away. Now in this phase, he starts to throw a lot of purple spear attacks, and then he will absorb them all and then make a giant spear. He first starts off with a swipe attack, and then he will go into an AoE projectile move, and then he does one big bomb effect right here, and basically your moment to dodge that attack is right when that ball of light hits the ground. If you see that moment happening, dodge and you'll avoid all the damage there, as well as dodge all of the projectiles that he sends at you. Here is a big AoE attack. He also will spawn some tornadoes, and he basically will also try to suck you in with an attack. It's like a double attack. He does a push attack with chaos, and then he will suck you in afterwards. So I just held block during that whole attack just to avoid as much damage as possible. It's really fast, really hard to time, but I just held block and I was able to negate most of the damage. And then it's kind of rinse and repeat here until you get to phase 2. He's getting ready to do this spirit thing again. I just threw a freaking javelin at him, get him right into phase 2. Alright, so in this one, he does a lot more melee attacks. So this is when you're able to do a lot more melee hits, as well as a lot of counters. He will be doing that counter move a lot more often in this phase, and basically, if you got your melee combat down to this point and what to dodge and what to block is pretty good. In this phase right here, I dodged backwards just because I could not get the timing down, and it's left, right, and then he does one with 5. Just dodge out of it. I try to stay back during that part. Some people are able to stay close and dodge everything. I could not do it. In this one, he does 3 massive attacks with a sword, and then he does 1 slam attack. The slam is the first hit, and then he does a couple of frontal attacks afterwards. It's pretty quick. In that part, I would recommend just running away when he's about to do the slam attack. You will stay out of the range and not get hit. Again, he'll be doing a lot of ground AoE attacks with chaos. If you're able to dodge that explosion and then go in for some hits, you're able to. He does some quick dash attacks, just dodge to the right. He does some of the projectile hits, similar to Maluka in a way with those projectile hits. But again, he does it to where he sucks you in after it. He's like basically pushing the air out and then pushing it back in. So just be aware of that. He does a couple of line chaos beam attacks. You dodge when the beam is completely white. That is when you dodge. He does one with one single beam, and then he does one with two beams. Now he starts to infuse his chaos, and right there you want to avoid that little AoE there. He'll fly up into the sky and start to shoot some projectiles. There's two ways that you can take on this fight right here. You can either dodge every projectile, or the first initial ones you can actually block parry and it'll send him back up to him. He'll actually take damage here, but the last one you're not able to, so you will have to dodge the larger one. So there's two different ways you can take on that little mechanic right there. You can either block it or you can dodge it. And then he will summon a stone. Now the stone is very important that you actually destroy it, because if you don't, he will regen health. So yes, that's what you want to try to destroy right away, and then just make sure you lock back on him, because you were originally locked on to the stone. And then he rinses and repeats again. He gets back to his melee. He starts to summon tornadoes. Just dodge out of it. When he flies up again, this is where he shoots a giant arrow that will do AoE chaos damage on the ground. Just dodge out of it, and then he'll try to attack you again after he comes back down. This move right here is a black hole. Basically, he'll try to suck you in and he'll shoot some chaos beams at you. Just dodge it. Just try to dodge it as best as you can. And then I try to get away from the chaos as best as I could, just so I have some open field to deal with. That's his grab right there. Try to dodge that. His grab is pretty crazy. I actually got him down here, and then for most people the fight's over. However, because of what I did with the bonus missions and collecting everything, including the chains as well as the sword, as well as talking to the NPC before starting this final fight, he has a third phase. This phase right here is nothing but a counter phase. You are looking for that move right there, the counter attack, because he will be doing this a lot, and if you do it enough times, he'll become vulnerable to a brutal attack. You have to do the brutal attack 3 times to complete this phase. He does a projectile right here, a dodge it, and then he does a big arrow thing again, just dodge that, and then he comes back down. He does a slam attack, dodge it, and then he does another AoE thing. Again, if you're able to survive that, you're doing pretty well right now. What you are really looking out for are his attacks that are able to be countered. That's what you're looking for, and he'll be doing them a lot. They're very frequent, and if you're able to time them, you'll get through this third phase pretty quickly. Again, he does it right here, boom, do it, and then his meter's all the way down. Once you get that brutal attack off, you're able to go into the next one. Your goal is to do 3, because you can tell his health is taking a lot of damage whenever you do that, and he's no longer able to regenerate certain parts of his health. Once he gets into the melee, that's when you're able to do your counters. He always does it after that push air move too, so just be on the lookout for that whenever he brings you back in. So again, yeah, this is the third one, and so that is how you complete it right here. Once you get to your third one in, you can go in for the final kill, and there you have it. You have killed Ozma officially. Again, this is the alternate ending where you will have 3 phases instead of 2, which made the fight very much more difficult, and it was totally unexpected, but man, it was such a blast to actually be able to get it off. And then after the fight is over, you get to see this amazing cutscene. Enjoy. Thanks again for watching all of my boss fight videos for First Berserker Khazan. I hope these videos helped you out throughout your entire journey here in this amazing game. Enjoy the rest of this cutscene. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.
Khazan, I'm sorry.